Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy, so click the link in the video description, it'll take you right to my page. What's up guys, one more Holiday Cup video right before the holidays themselves. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas, happy holidays to those of you who do not. We have a very exciting team. We bring back Shadow Victreebel back where it all began for the holidays. And before we get right into it, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys. Yeah, let's get right into this video. It's a pretty exciting team, my most successful one so far in Holiday Cup, I would say. We've got Shadow Victreebel in the lead, Sableye as the safe swap, and Alolan Marowak running Hex as the closer. So Victreebel and Marowak have always had really good synergy, and I've always really wanted to run both of them together on in the same team before. A lot of these metas, especially in Open Great League, there's a big problem, and it's Altaria stomps both of them. So that's the main reason we're running Hex today. Even with Hex, Marowak is good enough to beat the threats to Victreebel, like Alolan Ninetales, Venusaur, those types of Pokemon. The typing is just good enough. You don't need to be dealing super effective damage to take those out. Fire Blast is run here mainly to take out Vigoroth and other normal types, like Wigglytuff. If you don't run Fire Blast, then you actually lose to Wigglytuff. And as Alolan Marowak, that's not a situation you want to be in. A lot of people were recommending Bone Club to hit Alolan Graveller and Golem a little bit harder, but Shadow Bone does the job anyways. And as far as baiting goes, it's nice to have this strong neutral damage. I feel like if you run, or the Fire Blast is kind of needed to take out Vigoroth. If you're running Hex and Shadow Bone and Bone Club, the Bone Clubs don't do enough damage nearly to take it out. As far as movesets go on the other Pokemon, Sableye, pretty standard, using a Purified Sableye. And then Shadow Victreebel running Acid Spray now. Ever since the Acid Spray buff, where it's a bit cheaper, I've started running Acid Spray. It has a little bit more utility. Sludge Bomb would have been nice in a couple of these games to kind of nuke those Altarias, considering that is one of the big threats of the team. There's not really a solid answer for Altaria, but you'll see there is play around it. The other main reason for running Hex on Alolan Marowak is Talonflame. If you don't run Hex, you lose. Very hard to Talonflame as well, and Talonflame maybe even tougher for Victreebel to deal with. But once again, you'll see the team is quite capable of dealing with both of those Pokemon by committee. We're going to take a look at a Froslass lead here. Victreebel wins the one shield, but we're going to swap out anyways. We have two very solid answers in the back to Froslass. They're just going to throw an Avalanche right away, and I decide not to shield it, just testing out how much damage it does, and it does quite a bit, but in comes Greedent, and this is not a great situation. This looks like Sableye might be able to farm all the way down. Sorry, Greedent might be able to farm Sableye all the way down. Gonna throw some foul plays out here, and just try and at least force a shield if they are gonna get greedy enough to farm all the way down. And I mean, greed is in the Pokemon's name. They are gonna go for the greedy play. I'm gonna grab a shield back, and then it's kind of just about trying to catch a Body Slam on Marowak. So I'm going to come in with the Victreebel, tank a Body Slam. It shouldn't deal that much damage. Then I'm going to try and swap to Marowak here to catch it. But for some reason, the game doesn't take my swap. It doesn't register. Very interesting, not a new bug, but bug. But I can't afford to let my Victreebel go down, of course. So I'm going to come in with the Marowak. Ideally, just take a Body Slam here and farm this Greedy Greedent all the way down. They're forced to swap out and bring in the Cradily. It's double Bullet Seed team. Very interesting, actually. I didn't notice that the first time around. But gonna throw some big Shadow Bones here. They no shield the first one correctly, but either way, it looks like the second Shadow Bone is gonna be able to take out this Cradily. Stone Edge, obviously, is gonna deal a little bit too much damage for Marowak to be able to handle. And once again, this is a game where Fire Spin would have for sure lost, but Hex is giving Marowak a chance to win this. In comes Froslass. And this Froslass is energy dry. It threw an Avalanche and my Sableye, if you guys remember. So Marowak, with this energy advantage, is going to be able to get to a Shadow Bone, two Shadow Bones even, before Froslass can even get to a single Shadow Ball. And then after this, it's a quite easy matchup. Take out this Greedent. Unfortunately, it's double resisting these Hexes. It does take a little bit longer than expected to farm down. But yeah, the Greedent, if that was at full HP, that's where you need the Fire Blast. Next game, we have Altaria lead. Like I said, this is probably the toughest lead. Marowak also kind of loses this, and we get counter swap by the Wigglytuff. So not a situation we really want to be in at this point. Return deals a lot of damage, and if they let it through, which they always do, Victreebel can easily farm down Wigglytuff before it gets to a move. So that's what's going to happen here. Unfortunately, I could not wait long enough, and the goal here against Altaria, if you're locked in, so my opponent makes a really good play here, is to keep charging up to the Sludge Bomb, because they will respect the Sludge Bomb and usually take you out beforehand. But in this case, going to come in with Marowak, and yeah. We might not even get to see the third Pokemon here. These Dragon Breaths really do add up. And yeah, we'll get to see it, but it is Altaria Double Charm, so... our only loss this set is going to be Altaria Double Charm. We're going to go for the Fire Blast here, just to get some action in here, and as Zionic would say, we got him. So, Altaria comes back in, yeah, there's no chance. Yeah, you're not going to beat Altaria Double Charm. Charm back is tough for this backline. Altaria is tough for the entire team. Okay, this is a great lead. In comes an Alolan Ninetales, but if it's Charm, you don't have to swap. And I make a little bit of a mistake here. Swap at 9 Leaf Blades. If you do, you have a great chance at catching that Weather Ball. And if not, you can actually farm all the way down, because the Leaf Blades do quite a bit more damage than Hex does. In this case, I'm forced to throw before they get to another move. If I just... You'll see this later in this video, I think. If you go to 9 Leaf Blades... Sorry, Razor Leafs, and don't throw the Leaf Blade and just catch instead, then you can actually take out that Ninetales before it gets to a move. So, see, without Bone Club, still able to force that shield off of Alolan Graveller. Now, it's a bit tough because, obviously, Victreebel needs to shield to be able to get any sort of damage in versus this Graveller at this point. And in comes Froslass, and it's good that we saved the Sableye now. Sableye has the more solid matchup versus Froslass here, whereas Marowak can kind of, with an energy disadvantage, lose that matchup just to Shadow Balls. In this case, I'm going to throw the Foul Play, probably grab another shield. And then get to that... Ooh, do I get to that? I'm not going to shield here. The win condition is Victreebel farming down this Froslass and then landing the Leaf Blade on this Graveler with a shield remaining as well. So not even as close as it seemed, I would say. But this was a good lead, so you kind of expect wins from those scenarios most of the time. Especially if they swap in something like Alolan Ninetales or like a Charmer. There's a lot of teams that are just really weak to Shadow Victreebel right now. Another Altaria lead. Let's see if we can reverse this curse. Going into Sableye, and this time they don't swap out. This means it's not Altaria Double Charm. Means we do have a chance. Gonna shield up anything here. It's usually a Sky Attack, but that's okay. We need to deal enough damage to this Altaria that Marowak can come in and hopefully farm it down, and if not, then just straight up take it out. If you charge up to the return the first time, you might get a shield. Hitting the return on Altaria flips a specific shield scenario that I don't really care too much about, but some other people might. So it's always nice to go to that first return. They're going to swap out their Altaria, which is a bit scary, but they're now shields down the whole way. And I'm not going to shield my Sableye. We're going to let it go down. Magneton outpaces. If I shield, it's just going to get to that next move faster. And then we're going to come in with Victreebel and probably not shield anything at all. Just deal quite a bit of damage to this Magneton. This will one-shot, but Victreebel lined up against... Oh, it won't one-shot. Not quite. Victreebel lined up against Altaria is kind of a disaster. We're going to swap out here into Marowak right away. We don't want that one-turn fast move Dragon Breath taking out Victreebel. In this case, Shadow Magnezone, gotta shield whatever it's throwing. Wild Charge is extremely scary. And then in comes Altaria. I'm going to throw a couple of Hexes just so I'm ahead enough in energy that I can get to that Shadow Bone before that Magnezone. And then going to land that Shadow Bone on the Magnezone and hopefully take it out. It'll be kind of close. Yeah, close enough for another Hex to take it out. And if not, we would have got the tie with Shadow Victreebel in the back anyways. At 1 HP. And that's the first set. We have a 4-1. The only loss being to Altaria Double Charm. Very degenerate team. But pretty strong in this meta, honestly. This next matchup, we have Alolan Sandslash versus Shadow Victreebel. This is not ideal. In fact, it's not great that Marowak does not have Fire Spin either, in this case. That's okay. We're going to tank an Ice Punch on Sableye. And in comes the Altaria. So, good thing we baited out the Altaria now. Unfortunately, it kind of looks like Victreebel has nowhere to go. I'm going to need to deal as much damage as possible with this Sableye on this Altaria, because it's kind of the best matchup here. We're actually going to grab a shield with the Sableye, and I have a tough decision to make. I kind of need this Alolan Marowak to deal with the Alolan Sandslash. So we're going to bring in the Victreebel into Altaria. This is a high level play. Normally you don't see people bringing in Victreebel into Altaria, but they are forced to throw the Sky Attack before I'm able to get to a Leaf Blade. Otherwise, a Leaf Blade would take them out. And Marowak is in a pretty good position to double shield and try and farm all the way down. With an energy advantage here, he doesn't really have to worry too much about the Alolan Sandslash. And we're well over 100 energy at this point. I'm going to throw the Shadow Bone. Maybe I should have Fire Blasted. I think it's unlikely that they would shield this. I'm going to throw a little bit more energy. I need to throw 3 more, which makes it so that I will, they're just at their Ice Punch. And then in comes the Vigoroth at the end, and we're just going to go for the big Fire Blast here and see if we can catch this guy unawares. Or girl, sorry, shouldn't assume, but no, they shield up. And because of that shield, the game is over. Perhaps a bait would have been a little bit better there, but yeah, it is a coin flip at the end of the day. Venusaur lead, we're going to have to swap into Sableye. This is not ideal, because Venusaur can win this matchup in every even shield unless you get a sneak. You can see I was going for the sneak there, but it kind of failed. So I'm going to shield up the Frenzy Plant. I don't want them to come in with something that can easily farm down. In comes Lapras. Lapras Sableye matchup is a bit tough, especially, well, Shadow Lapras. Yeah, it deals a lot of damage, so I'm going to shield up this Surf here. I really want Switch Advantage because I absolutely don't want to have my Victreebel against that Venusaur. I really want Marowak against the Venusaur, so I don't mind going 2 shields down in this scenario. But it is still an uphill battle in this case. And if Lapras was the best answer for Sableye, it's likely Sableye can deal some damage or grab some shields before it goes down. And that's exactly what it does. Grabs a shield from Venusaur. He's going to be able to grab another shield from this Venusaur. And the Venusaur is going to farm all the way down. So, very scary scenario, but we do have Marowak to absorb a lot of this energy. In fact, it's likely that they're clicking Sludge Bomb here to try and nuke the Victreebel, which is a much better scenario for the Marowak. And in comes Lickitung. So, Lickitung versus Shadow Victreebel. Lickitung wins in the 1 and 2 shield. And usually when you spend more shields on Shadow Victreebel, the better. But surprisingly, Shadow Victreebel actually wins the 0 shield against Lickitung. This might be the only matchup where Shadow Victreebel in the 0 shield performs better than in the 1 and 2. So Shadow Victreebel going to be able to take out that Lickitung, and then my opponent leaves, so we don't get to bask in the glory of a Fire Blasted Venusaur just one last time. Alright. Wigglytuff lead. They swap into their Alolan Marowak, and in comes Sableye. So this is a pretty good scenario. I just farm up a little bit. I want to see what they throw. In this case, they throw a Bone Club. I'm going to throw one more Shadow Claw, throw Foul Play. If they start shielding, I can start shielding too. That's fine. Obviously, you want to keep Switch Advantage here. Not at all costs, but it would be nice. I'm going to throw another Foul Play here on this Marowak. Oh yeah, I think this was very smart by my opponent. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to shield to keep Switch here again, if I want to. Wait, no. I'm actually able to Shadow Claw down. I'm thinking of a different game. Sorry. Throw the Foul Play, whatever comes in. Doesn't really matter if it's resisted. It's the Wigglytuff, of course. And then I have a couple options to go in here. But because they hard swapped, I'm going to go in with the Victreebel against the Wigglytuff. And then in comes Litleo. So this is a big core breaker in the back. Because I'm running Hex, actually, even with Fire Spin, this is not a great matchup. The thing that's missing here is Bone Club. So Bone Club would really help this scenario out. But instead, I only have to throw Resisted Fire Blast here. And they're actually going to be able to get to that move just before I am. If I'd swapped right away, I'd be in a much better scenario. But instead, Victreebel has to try and farm down this Litleo, and it's just not going to be enough. Victreebel going to be able to get to the Leaf Blade against this Wigglytuff, but once again, not quite enough, and that's the story of this battle right here. And that's okay. Yeah, my opponent played that very well, knowing that they need to get shields down in that switch scenario. Obstagoon lead. This is great for Shadow Victreebel and awful for the back line, so we need to stay in for sure. You can tank one Nightslash and still win this, so Victreebel can actually win the one shield here, and that's what the scenario I'm going to try and play, unless they boost. So maybe a bit of revenge for me playing so much Obstagoon and getting so many boosts myself. I'm going to get boosted on my very first Obstagoon game of the day, and unfortunately it's a very tough scenario with this farm that they've got. They're going to be able to throw another Nightslash, a boosted one, double boosted Nightslash. Disable. I'm going to have to soak this. And I'm kind of putting it all on the back of Alolan Marowak. If their Obstagoon is in the lead, hopefully they don't have anything that deals with Alolan Marowak in the back. I'm going to throw Foul Play and then likely charge up to another one and hope that they take me out with a Surf instead of farming down. Just because Alolan Marowak does resist these Ice Shards, but the Surfs are what you have to watch out for. Alolan Marowak's going to come in, and with a 2 shield advantage here, might be able to sweep the game. We'll see. Surf comes out, shielded up, and I'm just going to charge up and try and CMP tie them on the Surf. Instead, they come in with Froslass. I'm going to throw the Shadow Bone here, which will be enough to KO. Almost. And yeah, unfortunately going to have to shield up. Turns out Shadow Bone is not enough. Shadow Ball would be enough to take out the Froslass, but that's okay. With that little bit of extra farm, Alolan Marowak's going to be able to make it to Fire Blast, and once again, be able to land this on the Lapras. So this is another game where Fire Blast, insanely helpful compared to Bone Club. Yeah, the utility of Bone Club is definitely there, especially this bait move, but I'm not a big fan of baiting, so no reason to run it. Alolan Graveller lead, once again, great for Shadow Victreebel. And they stay in for a little bit, which is great. In comes Altaria, and this is a very tough situation. I'm going to come in with the Sableye. I probably should have come in with the Marowak instead, just so that I'd have 2 decent matchups versus this Alolan Graveller. But it's just about landing the foul plays before they do. I'm going to shield up whatever they throw here. Always a Sky Attack. And Sableye just going to throw another foul play, which grabs shields. They're going to throw another move, and I really have to debate shielding here. I decide not to, and instead the goal is to grab a big farm with Alolan Marowak. Maybe I'll have to shield a Sky Attack. Maybe I'll let a Sky Attack through. It's not a big deal either way. It's locked up against this Alolan Graveller in the back. And without Bone Club, it's still an okay matchup. So I'm just going to make sure I throw that Shadow Bone. And then I thought about sniping here, switching to Victreebel and taking out that Alolan Marowak, or sorry, Graveler, but I wasn't quite sure if it would KO. So instead, I swap right away, and it's an Obstagoon in the back. So very luckily, I saved my Shadow Victreebel here, as it beats the 2 remaining Pokemon. They swapped in their best answer, and this is why you don't swap your best answer in. They swapped their Altaria into Shadow Victreebel. I don't know if that's the correct play. In this case, they get another boost, so every Obstagoon I've played against today has boosted on me. Gonna shield up whatever this is, and Victreebel should be able to take Graveler out with 2 more Razor Leafs, and that's all it needs. Alolan Marowak is in the back collecting the win. Typical Shadow Go Back contribution there. But yeah, gonna grab another 3-2. That's not too bad. Up to 26-30. And we'll see how I do in this final set. And actually, even since this final set, I played even more, climbed even more. So this team is very, very solid. Vigoroth lead, exactly what you want to, or where you want to see it. Unfortunately, I start desynced, so not going to be able to do anything about this first body slam or sneak a move through. Gonna have to just shield it up. I think I played this one slightly incorrectly. Oh no, they swap into their A9, and I stay in a little bit longer this time, but still not quite long enough. Take the Psyshock, and I think I try to farm all the way down. Yes, this time I stayed in a little bit longer and try to farm all the way down. And I'll be nice and low HP so that whatever comes in can't even get that much farm. In this case, it's Alolan Golem. I really expected Vigoroth to come back in, so we're hitting with the Fire Blast. And yeah, that's a big resisted Fire Blast right there. Very unfortunate, but this is a Pokemon that I would absolutely love Victreebel to be able to take out. I didn't think I had enough HP to deal with this Golem and the Vigoroth, so I throw the Leaf Blade, and then we're going to swap right away, and they swap into their Vigoroth as well. This is a very tough, Shadow Victreebel is very tough for their team to deal with. All 3 Pokemon lose to it. So despite them having some great play against the backline, it's very important that Victreebel had some good matchups here, because this game is very close. Going to be able to Shadow Claw down that Vigoroth, and then Foul Play, maybe, will be able to land on this Alolan Golem. And either they take out the Sableye, or Victreebel should be able to farm them down. In this case, Sableye will be able to get to that Foul Play before they're able to get to that Rock Blast. And once again, going to be able to pick up a nice win here. You didn't get to see how that Vigoroth lead played out. That's kind of an important lead to know how to play, especially since Vigoroth is so common. Sableye lead here. This is a pretty good lead. In comes Snowy Cast Form, and guess what? We have the perfect answer for that. Despite Snowy Cast Form being so highly ranked in Holiday Cup, this is the first one I've actually seen. And these Shadow Balls deal quite a bit of damage. Get the defense drop, which is going to aid with this farm down, but the problem is with how much damage Blizzard does and these subsequent Weather Balls, it's really hard to farm all the way down. So won't be able to farm all the way down. We're going to get it close, throw this Shadow Bone. Probably should have farmed at least a little bit more. Just one more Hex, so I can easily get to this next move versus the Sableye, but unfortunately I'm not able to. So I made a little bit of a poor play, a little bit of bad decision making, but everyone does. Gonna shield the Victreebel up here. And then make sure we're counting, because we're gonna go throw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They get their 5th Shadow Claw through. And then we're gonna go for one more. Oh, no, they're going to swap instead. And they come in with their own Alolan Marowak, and this is where Sableye has its chance to shine. I was thinking of catching the foul play on my own Sableye to save a shield. Or just no shielding the Victreebel. Either way, Alolan Marowak comes in, and this is a matchup that Sableye does pretty well in. Obviously, you've seen this one before. Foul play going to be able to take out Alolan Marowak, and then it's all about the Shadow Claw battle between these two Pokemon, and Victreebel has a shield, so just making sure I sneak my move through, and they're not at 2 moves anyway, so doesn't really matter. In the end, it all works out. This next match, we have Alolan Ninetales lead. Got to check if it's Powder Snow or Charm, and it's Charm, so they swap out into Pelipper. This is a bit of a tricky one. I stayed for a little bit, kind of not sure what to switch into, but in the end I end up swapping to Sableye. Going to no shield this first one because it looks like I should be able to Shadow Claw down afterwards anyways. And they CMP me on the foul play, so they let that go. They're going to come back in with their Charmer, I'm sure. And this is a little bit of a tough situation because with a farm, this Alolan Ninetales can pressure shields off of Victreebel. So instead, going to come in with the Marowak and soak up this energy. Psyshock deals quite a bit. Going to throw a Shadow Bone here, though. I should have probably swapped my Victreebel at that point. But yeah, they start shielding up their Alolan Ninetales, which makes me a bit worried about what is in the back, if it's something Marowak also has to deal with. And it's Lapras, so even though they shielded that, this Lapras can deal quite a bit of damage to Victreebel, but Victreebel can farm down in the one shield, in this case, or just throw the Leaf Blade when they have no shields remaining. And then this was going to be a race to the finish, but turns out my opponent just wanted to take out the Victreebel. A lot of people hate Victreebel out there, probably a Victreebel hater. And yeah, Alolan Marowak was going to be able to beat that. Oh, simultaneous swap. We have Greedent into Sableye from this Meganium Victreebel lead. Meganium Victreebel, decent-ish lead, but Marowak obviously is the Pokemon you want on that Meganium. In this case, Greedent versus Sableye. This is pretty unfamiliar matchup to me. I actually grab a shield with a foul play already, so I'm going to deal some damage with another foul play. This crunch will almost KO, but I think that might be even worse to get the defense drop, because then they'll be able to, or even if they don't, they'll be able to farm down, get a little bit of extra energy. Now I need to come back in with the Victreebel. I'm trying to think about making a catch play here and just catching a Body Slam. 2, 3, and just catch this big Body Slam on Marowak, but they actually somehow big brain this and go for the crunch. It doesn't make any sense to me, but either way, we do have a shield advantage, and they have a Froslass switch in, which means this Marowak has to deal with Froslass and Meganium, which is definitely doable with 2 shields. So going to shield it up, despite the fact that it's 99% an Avalanche. There's no reason that they would need to throw Shadow Ball here. But because of Hex, you get to move faster than Froslass, and I'm able to KO this Froslass with a Shadow Bone, and hopefully have enough HP to take out this Meganium. So Meganium just needs a Frenzy Plant here to take out Marowak. It doesn't even need to go up to the Earthquake. Going to shield up that Frenzy Plant, and they swap an Ingredient. I charge up to that Fire Blast, swap out, because I know Alolan Marowak should win CMP versus Meganium. So we do have this Fire Blast ready to go. And everyone's just looking forward to seeing this Meganium getting Fire Blasted out of existence. And here we go. Gonna throw this big Fire Blast. No. I'm going to blue ball everyone a little bit with a little small Shadow Bone right there. Sorry about that, everyone. I wasn't sure if I had Fire Blast stored when I swapped out or if it was a visual thing. You can never be too sure with Pokemon Go. PvP, it seems, nowadays, so made the safe play instead. Should have made the play for the content. Alright, so another Charm, A9. You're going to see how this goes if they stay in. So you throw the Leaf Blade right away. They actually swap a little bit too early into their Altaria, which is perfect. They've gotten their A9 quite low, so I can deal with it with either of the remaining Pokemon. Sableye going to be able to deal quite a bit of damage to this Altaria with Foul Place, obviously. And then once again, you reach that second Foul Play before they get to the second Sky Attack. Grab that shield. And then I debate shielding here. My Sableye is a little bit healthier than usual, but I let the Sky Attack go. I'm going to come in with the Alolan Marowak because I want that farm, because I'll be able to take out that Alolan Ninetales as soon as it comes back in. Actually, no. I realized the Alolan Ninetales this time was different. They swapped with a lot lower HP. I just want to take out that Altaria, and in comes Talonflame. So a bit of a scary scenario here. I'm just going to keep farming and try and sneak a move because I know we'll line up. And then I'll start throwing with decent timing. We'll throw just one. Couple turns extra of Incinerate sneak through, but I know I should be able to get to another Shadow Bone even before they're able to get to a move. And then I can swap to my Victreebel and take out their Talonflame with my Leaf Blade before taking Incinerate damage. Remember, if I throw 2 Razor Leafs there, I'm going to take the Incinerate damage, and it's not going to be a nice matchup versus this A9. It'll be able to farm down Victreebel. In this case, they're forced to throw a move, and now Alolan Marowak doesn't have to fear the Side Shock. Going to be able to throw that Shadow Bone and KO this Alolan Ninetales. So a lot of high-level play in this last game had to be made to win this game. But yeah, that was the last game of the set, and I believe that's a 5-0, shooting me into the 2700s for the first time this season. Shadow Victreebel always gets it done. What can I say? And I love playing with the rest of these Pokemon as well. Hex AWAC, I think, is a lot of fun too, mainly in these themed cups. Obviously, it's not quite powerful enough to deal with other Pokemon in Open Great League, the Open Great League meta nowadays. But yeah, that's it. Like I said before, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you guys, and thank you so much for, I've been making videos for like a year and a half now. Thank you so much for all your guys' support. Just managed to cross the 10,000 subscribers line, and that's been a big goal of mine for a long time. So I guess that's your guys' Christmas gift to me. So thank you so much, and obviously thanks for watching.